Darwin came to town, and he's right here in New York City. He has pointed out the worldwide urban design and architecture which is progressing towards a nature-inclusive approach. More and more clever, ecologically inspired ideas are being developed to integrate nature into the city on microscopic as well as huge scales. In Manhattan, for example, in the top left picture, this low-lying lab is creating underground green spaces under poor light conditions. On the top right, we have the Roppongi Hills in Japan, where it is like if a chunk of Japanese countryside is sitting in the top of the building like a green crown. Then, in Fukuoka, we have the Prefectural Hall, where the south-facing slope of the building is covered in 14 terraces of wild-looking vegetation. In our lower left, we have the Bosco Verticale in Milan, where two residential towers were planted with thousands of greens. These are only a few examples of the route that architecture and urban design is taking. So Darwin was right afterwards about nature inclusivity being in full swing. But what implications does this have? This is huge! New trends in green roofing, nature-inclusive buildings, and green urbanism affect the ongoing rapid evolution of urban ecosystems. There is always evolution, including here in the city, and the question is, what is the crosstalk between urban evolution and urban architecture? Urban engineers, designers, and architects already engage in intensive global exchange of ideas, but we need to go a step further. We do need to go a step further. With little evolutionary reasoning, it may be possible to come up with guidelines on how urban design may harness the power of evolution to assist in the evolutionary maturation of those urban ecosystems. Darwin is still in town, and he's here to stay. So what are we gonna do with him? Let's build with Darwin. Let's join Darwin in his efforts and build with him. Building with Darwin guideline number 1, let it grow. We humans are incorrigible gardeners. We want to plant, to weed, and to arrange. And green urban design is no different. This won't tell no planting anything, perhaps not even adding soil, but simply leaving the beds empty and letting the urban ecosystem colonize. Building with Darwin guideline number 2, not necessarily native. Any city is already full of urban plants evolving and adapting to that particular urban environment. That's ideal starting material, and yes, many of those will be exotic. They call this the inconvenient truth of urban evolution. Guideline number 3, pristine pockets. This may seem to go against what I suggested just now in not necessarily native, but pockets of natural vegetation which still retain the original local flora and fauna can act as a safety net for when the environment changes in the future. And finally, guideline number 4, splendid isolation. One of the central tenets in urban green designs these days is ending isolation with corridors or bridges. But for urban species, it might be actually a good thing to be trapped in their own areas and not be blended all the time with poorly adapted species. As you might notice, some of these guiding principles go against the grain of ecological urban planning dogma, and it may take a while before city councils internalize a sense of urban evolution. That's why we need more people and citizen involvement, as well as apps and technology to keep us connected and help us be evolutionary engineers.